So tonight, and Jason and Sarah and Ricky, I'd like to bring you in on this. Tonight is the State of the Union. And I have a list of things that I think he has to talk about today. But I'd like to start, Sarah, I'd like to actually start with you because you're more of the average person. You got into this because this was like, it's a job. I push buttons. It's a job. And you're
Sounds
a
glorious
raging
so
alcoholic.
far, yes.
Right. Raging alcoholic. So, you're like the average American. Are you gonna watch this tonight?
I'm definitely going to try. I'm excited for the pomp and circumstance as usual. But
really? You like that part?
I do, because it pisses everybody off.
I hate that part. Okay. Okay. All right. It's typically you. Okay, now I understand it.
Yeah.
Now I understand. Because it does. It pisses me off. I'm like, shut up. They just introduced him 5 seconds ago, and you gave him a standing ovation. And now you reintroduce him, and you're going to give him another 2-minute standing ovation. We could all go home. We could be in bed in 15 minutes if you guys would just sit on your hands for a while. But that's just me.
No, that's very true.
Is there anything that he has to say to you that you want to hear?
I want stats. I want numbers. I want him to come with facts. I think a lot of times he's just, I'm the greatest and this is going to be the best economy ever. I want I want comparisons.
He's going to give that tonight.
I hope
he's going to give that. Jason, what does the president have to do?
Well, per the insiders, the president has to address the SAVE Act and election integrity. They are leading in the poll right now, so that's what they really want, and it's hard to kind of argue with that. I'm really curious about, because the president has made a big focus on outward-facing threats. South America, he's talking about Greenland. He's tried to bring peace to Ukraine. He's been in the middle, all over the Middle East. The point is, he's very outward-focused, when a lot of people were saying Make America Great Again is all about being inward focused, economy, all those things. I want to know how this, and it kind of goes towards your question of him during his first 100 days, on whether he was trying to fix a system that was built post-World War II. Talk about that and tell us how all these things you're focused on outwardly is really about focused on inside the United States. Make that clear to the American people. That's paramount.
Excellent. Ricky?
He's got to convince both sides of the aisle that when he does the targeted strike on Iran, it's not if, when he does it, it's in our interest. Speaking to what Jason was talking about, he's also got to convince both sides of the aisle and all of America that his policies with ICE, even though there may have been some distractions, we'll call it that, in Minnesota, his policies for ICE are for all Americans, to keep all Americans safe, not just Republicans.
Agree. Okay, before I get to my list of things, because I wrote down about 8 things that I think he has to do tonight. But give me a list of who's coming. The hockey team is coming. The male hockey team is coming.
So Sarah wants the pomp and circumstance. I want to see Quinn and Jack Hughes. Jack still missing his tooth, grinning ear to ear.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, he's going to be there. There's going to be some Epstein victims there that are brought in as props by the Democrats.
Right. I'm not sure that works to their advantage, does it? I mean, really, Bill and Hillary Clinton, you're going to, that party is going to bring in Epstein victims?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's awkward.
All right, whatever.
I think, what was the stat, Jason, about the percentage of people that Epstein had donated to?
89% of Epstein's political contributions went to the left and Democrats. 89%.
89.
So, yeah.
By the way, I think Bill Gates is starting to really feel the heat. Did you see that he left that global conference? He didn't go to that big global conference. What was it, last weekend? Because of this, they were like, I don't think we're going to lose speakers if you show up. I think he's finally starting to get some heat from it, which is good.
You'd think the divorce with his wife would have been...
Yeah, would have been enough. No, apparently not.
But this is the guest that I'm most excited about. She was invited by Speaker Johnson. There's a lot of Americans who may not know the story of Jimmy Lai. He is currently in a Chinese prison. He's a pro-democracy activist. He's facing 20 years, or he's supposed to be in there for 20 years. And Speaker Johnson and the Trump administration are working to get him free. His daughter, Claire, was invited, and she's recently just started speaking out, and she has said that it's his Christian faith that has sustained him. And as you know, being a Christian in China is probably not the most popular position.
No, not at all. Not at all. Let's get her on. I'd really like to talk to her. All right, so here are the things that I think the president has to do tonight. He's got to lead with affordability. He's got to lead with, here's what I've done to make the economy for you better. And he's going to have to, he has to express that it is in your best interest. These tariffs are in your best interest. That Iran is in your best interest. All of these peace deals are in your best interest, and why they're in your best interest. But more importantly, why have I done, like Jason just said, why have I done all these things overseas? How do they affect your wallet? How are they going to affect your children's future? He really needs to distill this and show everything I've done overseas will affect you and your wallet. I had to take care of that first. So the explaining of the outward focus and the explanation of Iran is going to be really, really important. He then also has to talk about the criminal illegals. He needs to make it really clear. We're a nation built on immigration. Should we pause on immigration? Yeah, perhaps so, because we don't have any idea who's coming in. But are we against immigration? No, as long as they're the kind of people that come in and want to renew the promise of America. Okay, we can use those kinds of people to help build a more perfect nation. That is good. But what I'm trying to get off the streets are the criminals, which goes to your point, Ricky. I think it was your point. This affects everybody. And in fact, disproportionately affects people in liberal cities and low-income people. By taking these rapists, these killers, these thugs, drug dealers, by taking them off the streets, it's actually affecting low-income and liberal cities more than it is the red cities. So I'm actually trying to be a president for all of the people here. He also has to address the DHS funding. We are, with what happening in Mexico, you look across that border, man, this whole world is a powder keg. You're going to defund the DHS? ICE has their funding. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you taking our Department of Homeland Security at a time when we may need it most? You've got to restore the funding. He's got to hammer that. He also has to hammer the SAVE Act and why that's not Jim Crow. What they're doing is Jim Crow. And I think the most important thing he can do is define who we are. What is it we're really fighting for? Why is America an important place? Why are our values important? What's important fighting for? What's not important? What happens to the world if we just disappear? What happens to your children? I would love for the president to say, everybody's fighting all the time, and we got to stop this fighting. We have to start saying, if we're going to fight, let's fight together for this vision of America. What would be interesting is if he ever did that, how the left would be forced to be against that vision of America. And it would be so telling because they would. If he was clearly articulating a vision of America that everyone could look at and go, I want to be like that. I don't care who I voted for. That's the America I want. It would put people in a very awkward position because they would have to come out against that, which they would. Those are the things he needs to do. I think he will be in danger if he takes a victory lap. Now, let me explain that. He's got to take a victory lap. He's got to say what he has accomplished in the last year. But if that victory lap doesn't include, I heard you. Everything that we have done is to get your cost of living down. And you may not feel it yet, but it's happening, and here's the proof. And we're not done yet. I heard you then, I hear you now. If he does what the Democrats did last time, where you just don't get it. You can't read Wall Street reports? He'll lose people. He has got to say, look, I understand that you don't feel it yet, but I heard you then, I hear you now, and we're not done. I had to take care of these big things to be able to get to the things that will actually now affect your table. I had to do it in this order. And the other thing I think he loses on is if he spends any real time bashing the Supreme Court. I don't think people want to hear the bashing of our institutions. He can say, they came up with a really bad thing, and I disagree with it, but that's their job. I disagreed with what they came up with. That's my job. And so I thank the Supreme Court because you've just made my tariffs stronger. That's the way he should handle it. If he gets waylaid into, and I'm ashamed of you, and then he's going to sound like the Democrats, and we don't like that when the Democrats do it. I wonder if the Democrats like it when they even do it as well. Probably they do, but I don't. That's what the president needs to do. Tonight at State of the Union, we'll be watching.